You're explaining something to someone, defending yourself, winning an argument that hasn't even happened yet. Maybe it's with a boss, a friend, a partner, or someone who upset you years ago. In your mind, the conversation goes perfectly. You say exactly what you wish you said. They finally understand you. They apologize. Everything clicks. But then, reality hits. The conversation never actually happens. And later you think, why do I do this? Why do we rehearse conversations that never happen? And why does our brain replay these imaginary moments like a movie we didn't choose to watch? If you do this, you're not weird. In fact, your brain might just be trying to protect you. Let's break down what's really happening. Imagine this. You're getting ready for the day, maybe brushing your teeth, maybe driving to work, maybe walking to school. And suddenly, your brain starts running a scenario. What if they ask me about that mistake? What if they bring up that problem again? What if I need to explain myself? So your mind starts rehearsing. You practice what you would say, almost like an actor practicing lines before a scene. And here's the interesting part. Your brain thinks it's doing something useful. Psychologists call this mental simulation. Your brain is trying to predict the future so you won't be caught off guard. Humans are social creatures. For thousands of years, being rejected or embarrassed in a group had serious consequences. So our brains evolved to constantly ask, how will people react to me? That's why we rehearse conversations. Your mind is trying to prepare you for social situations before they happen. The problem? Your brain doesn't know when to stop preparing. So instead of rehearsing once, it replays the conversation 10 times, 20 times, with new versions every time. Different responses, different arguments, different outcomes. And suddenly, you're arguing with someone in your head while you're just trying to make breakfast. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. But preparation isn't the only reason our brains do this. There's another powerful force behind it. Think about the conversations you replay the most. They usually have one thing in common. Something felt unfinished. Maybe you didn't say what you wanted to say. Maybe someone misunderstood you. Maybe you stayed quiet when you really wanted to speak up. When that happens, your brain feels tension. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik Effect. It's a simple idea. Your brain remembers unfinished situations far more than completed ones. If something feels incomplete, your mind keeps returning to it over and over and over again. It's like your brain saying, wait, we didn't finish this. So it tries to finish the conversation mentally. You imagined explaining your side better. You imagine saying the perfect response. You imagine the moment when they finally understand you. In your head, the story gets a satisfying ending. But in reality, that moment may never come. Maybe the person moved on. Maybe the situation passed. Maybe the conversation would never go the way you imagined. But your brain doesn't care. It just wants closure. And if reality doesn't give you closure, your mind tries to create it. That's why people sometimes rehearse conversations with people they haven't seen in years. The brain is still trying to resolve something emotionally. And when you don't give it closure, it keeps hitting replay. Now let's talk about nighttime, because this is when these imaginary conversations often get the loudest. You're lying in bed. Everything is quiet. Your phone is down. The world finally slows down. And suddenly, your brain decides to reopen every awkward moment you've ever experienced. That thing you said 3 years ago, that conversation that ended weirdly, that moment you wished you handled differently. Nighttime is when the brain processes emotions and memories. During the day, distractions keep your mind busy. Work, school, people, tasks. But at night, your brain finally has time to sort through unfinished thoughts, and those imaginary conversations come back. If you've ever laid in bed thinking, why did I say that? Or I should have responded like this, you're experiencing your brain trying to process unresolved social moments. It's frustrating, but it's incredibly human. And here's the important thing to remember. Your brain isn't trying to torture you. It's trying to understand your experiences. But sometimes it gets stuck in a loop. So the real question becomes, how do you stop the loop? The goal isn't to completely stop these thoughts. That's impossible. But you can stop them from controlling your attention. Here are 3 simple techniques that work. When you catch yourself rehearsing a conversation, pause. Ask yourself, is this a conversation I'm actually going to have? If the answer is yes, think of one clear sentence you want to say. That's enough preparation. You don't need to rehearse the entire dialogue. But if the answer is no, then your brain is chasing imaginary closure.
and recognizing that alone can break the loop. Your brain loops thoughts when they stay trapped inside your head. Take a notebook, write down everything you wish you could say, all of it, the anger, the explanation, the frustration. Then close the notebook. When you write something down, your brain sees it as processed, not unfinished. This is why journaling works so well for overthinking. Imaginary conversations live in the past and future, but your body lives in the present. So when your brain starts looping, do something physical. Stand up, stretch, take a short walk, drink a glass of water. Look around the room and notice 5 things you can see. Small physical actions bring your attention back to reality, and that interrupts the mental movie playing in your head. If you rehearse conversations that never happen, you're not strange, you're not broken, you're just human. Your brain is trying to prepare you, trying to protect you, trying to finish emotional stories that never got an ending. But here's something important to remember. Life rarely gives us perfect conversations. Sometimes we say the wrong thing. Sometimes people misunderstand us. Sometimes moments pass without closure. And that's okay, because the goal isn't to say the perfect words. The goal is to live honestly in the moment. Not perfectly, just honestly. If this video made you think, wait, other people do this too? Then hit the like button and share it with someone who overthinks conversations just like you. Because sometimes the most comforting thing in the world is realizing you're not the only one with these thoughts. Because the human mind is fascinating, and chances are the thought you think is weird is something millions of people are thinking too.